UFC Tampa just went down last night, and I'm just gonna go over the entire card from bottom to top, and I'm just gonna discuss how they went, how I did on picks. Also, I guess we should get that out of the way now. I went 11-13 on picks, which is the best I've done on picks so far. So that's awesome. And we're gonna talk about some potential matchups for some of these matches here, not all of them, but I'm just gonna talk about some of the important ones. So starting, Pierre Rodriguez versus Josephine Knudsen. I'm actually mad about this. I'm really mad about this. I picked Josephine Knudsen, who's the better and more skilled fighter. Most everyone else is picking Knudsen as well. And Pierre Rodriguez just wrestles her and wins a decision by wrestling. My goodness. I did the same thing with, I believe it was the Sphere card. There was a women's MMA fight on the first one. I had actually watched tape on both of these fighters. On the Sphere card, one of the women was really good, really solid. The other was not good. And this one won, the not good one won by wrestling. And the same thing happened again. And I think I've learned my lesson, and especially in women's MMA. If there's a good fighter, a genuinely good fighter, fighting a bad fighter but a wrestler, they're gonna win. So I'll be picking the trash wrestler next time, and I'll be coping about this. I'm already coping about this. This sucks. Anyways, Davy Grant and Ramon Tavares. Davy Grant's really solid, man. He looked really solid against this fight. Ramon Tavares just had not much to offer, really. Yeah, Davy Grant, give him a bit of a step up in competition. I know he's 38, 39, I think 38. And he's kind of an older guy, but man, he still looks solid, man. I'd say give him. I've heard Cody Garbrandt. Instead of giving Miles Johns Cody Garbrandt, I'd say maybe give Davy Grant Cody Garbrandt. That could be a pretty fun fight, honestly. I'd like to see that. On to the next one. Miranda Maverick. She beat Jamie Lynn Horth. Unanimous decision. I thought it would be a clean sweep. It was pretty much a clean sweep. Yeah, not really much to say on this matchup. Jamie Lynn Horth's not that good, and Miranda Maverick is just a pretty solid staple in the women's MMA division. Felipe Lima, Miles Johns. Yeah, speaking of Miles Johns, Felipe Lima, I said he'd just look better than Miles Johns everywhere. He pretty much did. Miles Johns had nothing for him, and Felipe Lima just... He's a newcomer to the UFC. He looks really solid. I'd love to see him in future matchups in the featherweight division. Miles Johns came up from bantamweight and fought him. Felipe Lima looks good at featherweight. I don't really know who you'd give him. I don't know. I don't know who you give Felipe Lima. Give him a couple step-ups in competition. I'd say he does pretty well in the unranked pool. I think he maybe could be ranked one day, but I'm not really sure. Anyways... on to this next string of fights. This is really where it started kicking off. The David Grant fight was good. The Felipe Lima fight was good. Now it just gets really solid. Sean Woodson smokes Fernando Padilla. Padilla just comes out looking to just swing and put the pressure on Sean Woodson. Woodson just stayed composed, stayed defensively sound, and eventually Padilla just lost that composure, and Sean Woodson was able to just find the shots, find the combinations, and eventually put him out in the dying seconds of the first round. Sean Woodson is probably, I'd say, he's probably the best unranked featherweight in the division. I know we also have, who's the guy that, he beat Diego Lopez in the Contender Series. Why can't I think of his name, man? Goodness, I can't think of his name. He lost that robbery decision recently. Quote robbery. It was kind of a close fight, but whatever. I'll think of his... Joe Anderson Brito. It's like him and Joe Anderson Brito are probably like the best. I don't know, maybe you pair them two up. That would be a fun fight. Or you could just give Sean Woodson a ranking spot. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards. Maybe give him someone like an Edson Barbosa, or maybe like a Dan Ige. I want to see this guy in the rankings because he's proven himself beyond a shadow of a doubt, in my opinion, that he's better than these unranked guys. And I know Padilla wasn't like the best unranked guy, but still, Woodson's shown it. He beat Yusuf Zalal, so like, yeah, just give him a rank spot, man. Speaking of giving a ranked spot, Yoel Alvarez needs to also be given a ranked spot. He smoked Jakar close. The finish was crazy. He hit him with a flying knee, which looked like it knocked Jakar close out. Didn't seem like Yoel noticed. Lashed up a guillotine with one hand and started just beating beating his side of his head, or like it was just shovel uppercuts. Jakar close while he was still out. And then the ref noticed, stepped in, and Jakar just flops down. That was a crazy finish, man. Yoel is so dangerous. Good jujitsu, and now dangerous striking. He's finished every win he has. And man, him versus Jalen Turner, the battle of the 6'3" kickboxers, that would be a fun fight. I think Yoel Alvarez beats Jalen Turner. Jalen Turner's stupid. He has kind of bad fight IQ, honestly. And I just think Yoel's more dangerous than Jalen Turner. And he's just going to have better grappling. Jalen Turner just doesn't have grappling. And Yoel's going to have that in his back pocket if Jalen Turner proves somehow to be too much of a threat for Yoel on the feet, and Yoel just doesn't want to deal with it. I'll just take him down and submit him, right? So, man, get Yoel Alvarez in them rankings and get Jalen Turner out of the rankings. Anyways, Michael Johnson knocking out Otman Azaitar. Michael Johnson still got it. He still got the speed. He still got the power, man. He's still dangerous. And Otman Azaitar just isn't. Otman just swings hooks and overhands, but he's slow and he's just not dangerous at all, in my opinion. And Michael Johnson is dangerous. I know he's older. I know he's way out of his prime, but he's just, like I said, he's still faster and he's still got the night button, as we just saw. They got into kind of exchange. Michael Johnson started it, and Otman came in swinging, and then Michael Johnson finished it. And they say be first and third, right, in your combinations. And Michael Johnson was first and third. He started that combo, got Otman to swing with him, and Michael Johnson just shut his lights out. It was great to watch. Michael Johnson, man, who do you give Michael Johnson? I heard not Jalen Turner, sorry. Who's the other Brit guy that trains with Leon Edwards? He's got a weird name, at least in my opinion. Gosh dang it, man. I cannot think of these names. I'll think of it in a second. Just remember that he got smoked by Ilya Taporia. Jai Herbert, that's who it is. You could give him Jai Herbert. That would be a fun fight. Or I don't know, man. Who really knows? Anyways, Navajo Sterling, Tuco Tucos. Not the first round domination not the first round finish that we were hoping, but Navajo Sterling, they made it a scrap. These guys made it a scrap. Tuco Tucos kind of tried to impose his grappling a little bit, but overall, Navajo Sterling just won the striking exchanges, cut Tuco Tucos, he's trash. Navajo Sterling, honestly, he's kind of mid. He's kind of wild. He'll be in some good scraps in the future, but I don't ever think he's going to be ranked. Like I said, he's pretty wild, and he's pretty scrappy, and he just kind of wings. Looks like he kind of wings punches a little bit, but I'm excited for the future of this guy. We could give him some other unranked guys in the light heavyweight division. There are too many other unranked light heavyweights that are going to be step ups in competition that aren't like big prospects. The only really prospects we got in the light heavyweight division are like Umar Sy and gosh dang it, who's the other guy? I can't remember. Don't give him anyone like Umar Sy or anything like that. Maybe you could give him like Modestas Bukowskis, or like maybe you could give him Vitor Petrino now. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, solid fight. Anyways, Daniel Marcos and Adrian Yanez. I said it was going to be a close fight. I originally picked Adrian Yanez before I made the prediction video, but I switched it last minute for the prediction video to Daniel Marcos. I said that Daniel Marcos was just going to be able to get by Adrian Yanez. Just his skill set, he was just going to be able to do it, and that's kind of what he did. He won the first round and the third round. Yanez won the second. Yanez decided to clinch up in the last minute or two of the fight. Not a very smart move, in my opinion. It kind of maybe cost him the fight if he would have just kept trying to put it on it Marcos for that third round, maybe he could have took the fight. But man, yeah, like I said, Marcos is 17-0. It seems like he's getting by these fights with just the skin of his teeth. He has enough skill to win, but not enough skill to completely dominate. I don't know who you give Marcos next. Like, maybe you give him like a Pedro Munoz. I think he'd probably beat Pedro Munoz. Pedro Munoz doesn't look good now. Maybe Faraz Ziam. Not Faraz. Yeah. No, Ayman Zahabi. That's who I'm thinking of. Sorry, Ayman Zahabi. Maybe give him like Ayman Zahabi, or you could give him a ranking shot at like Kyler Phillips. Kyler Phillips is kind of... He's had a loss against Rob Font. Maybe you give him Kyler Phillips. We can see how that goes. Dustin Jacoby, Vitor Petrino. This is the only other fight that I got wrong on the card. Man, Vitor Petrino just ain't it. It's proven that he ain't it, man. Dustin Jacoby got the Jorge Masvidal KO, or the Kamaru Usman against Jorge Masvidal KO. It was pretty much picture perfect, like picture for picture. It was pretty much the same thing. He hit him with the punch, and Vitor slumped against him and then fell on the ground. He ended up more on his face, but still, it was pretty much the same thing. It was kind of cool to watch, and yeah, man, Vitor Petrino just ain't it. He just ain't it. Maybe you can give him... I know I already mentioned Modestas Bukauskas. Maybe you can give him somebody like that. I don't know if he's already fought him or not. I'm going to be honest, I don't remember. Dustin Jacoby. I'm kind of on the fence about giving him another ranking shot. He's been in the rankings. He got kind of kicked out of the rankings when he lost to Dominic Reyes. I don't think he's ranked worthy, in my opinion. I think he'd lose to most of the guys there unless you give him like Anthony Smith, which, poor Anthony Smith, please retire, but for goodness sake, man. But yeah, like if you want to give him a ranking shot, give him Anthony Smith. That's an easy win. If you want to give him like, because Johnny Walker's going to lose to Bogdan Guskov. He just will. Maybe if you want to give him Johnny Walker after that, that could be a winnable fight. But yeah, I think Justin Jacoby's at that point in his career where he's like, good enough good enough to beat most of the unranked pool, but not good enough to beat most of the ranked pool. So he's just kind of sitting in limbo, in my opinion. Like I said, he's beaten Vitor Petrino. He arguably beat Khalil Roundtree back in the day, so that's pretty solid. Like I said, I think he could beat an Anthony Smith. He could beat a Johnny Walker. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's weird for him. Anyways, Manel Kape TKOing Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva was kicking him in the balls so much they took a point away from him, which is crazy. And Manel Kape just got the TKO in round 3. And Bruno Silva, decent flyweight, and he's got good power. He's always had good power, but Manel Kape just showed that he's just better pretty much everywhere. And he got that TKO, man. I'm happy for that. I'm happy for Manel Kape. I want to see him fight up in the rankings now. I want a new flyweight contender that's going to, like, challenge the top 5. I believe he is ranked number 7 in the division. I could be wrong, but I think he's ranked number 7. Maybe give him, like, an Alex Perez or a Kai Kara France. I'm debating a Tatsuro Taira. You could do a Tatsuro Taira. I think Taira might win. I think Alex Perez is actually a pretty winnable fight for Manel Kape. I think he could beat Perez. I don't know that he beats a Kara France. I think Kara France is probably the hardest fight for him out of the 3 of those guys. But yeah, man, good performance for Manel Kape. I want to see more of him in the flyweight division. Give him Perez, give him Kara France, give him Taira, whatever. Anyways, Cub Swanson, Billy Quarantillo. This was a solid scrap of a fight, man. Cub Swanson, I think he probably won the first round of this fight, and then Billy Quarantillo kind of picked it up in the first round. And then Billy Quarantillo picked it up in the second round, started landing some better shots, getting some wrestling in. And then third round comes. Swanson hits him with the left hook, right down the middle, knocks him clean unconscious. And that was a spectacle to watch, man. Cub Swanson back in prime form, like not prime form, but you know what I mean. Like he looked amazing tonight. He said in the post-fight interview that this might be his last fight. He told his wife it might be his last fight. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. He's 41. He is past his prime, obviously. He hasn't beat the best of competition lately. This is probably his best competition he's beat in his past 5 fights. I'd say retire. This is a perfect fight to retire on. You got nothing left to prove. You're 41. It's only downhill from here. It's been downhill for a while. To come out looking fast and fluid like that and to get a flatline KO like that, man, that's perfect. Don't risk it against anyone else. Just retire on a KO and call it good. Right off into the sunset, man. Amazing career for Cub Swanson. Like I said, I hope he retires, but not for the reason I wish most other people would retire. I don't wish he would retire because he's washed or he's just not looking good. Like, man, please retire, man. Come on. But no, like, retire, ride off into that sunset, that amazing KO victory of someone who I believe was ranked recently. I think he was ranked in the Barboza fight, but I can't remember. But yeah, amazing win for him. Buckley versus Covington. Honestly, Covington didn't look bad in the fight, but he was definitely getting outclassed by Buckley. Like, Covington was looking to fight. He was looking to scrap, and he was landing some decent shots on the feet. He was trying on the feet. He went for like a tornado kick, I think. And he got a couple good takedowns in the second and third round, which was good. That's really what Colby needed, but in the end, Buckley wasn't really ever in any danger. Covington's never a submission threat. He just never is. So I don't think Buckley was ever in danger of getting submitted, but Covington tried his best, but he just ain't got it anymore, and Buckley is just dangerous. He's got dangerous hands. He is a tank of a human being, so imposing your wrestling on him is going to be very hard. And man, that cut, I don't know. I think it could have gone longer. We've seen way worse cuts be able to continue. For example, the Rumbetsky and Oralby fight. They didn't stop that fight for the disgusting amount of blood and cuts that were on both of their faces, especially Oralby's face. They let Oralby continue. I don't see why they couldn't have let Colby continue. I get it, there was a lot of blood, but I don't know. Either way, Covington wasn't going to win this fight. He was losing all 3 rounds. And he just, Buckley's that good. He keeps surprising me. He keeps evolving every single fight he's in. And I think he's really found his place at welterweight. He'll probably be ranked number 6, which was Colby's ranking at the time of this fight, or maybe 7. Yeah, man. I'd say he had the crowd decide who he fights next, which I thought was pretty cool. I like Buckley. He has a lot of charisma and he's able to get the fans on board. He's got a good personality. I like the dude, and he's able to get the fans to decide who he fights next. And they made the most noise for Usman, so maybe give him that Usman fight. I would love to see that fight. That would be a pretty close fight in my opinion. I think Buckley would be a bit better on the feet. Usman is a better wrestler though. So if Colby was able to take him down a couple times, I don't know what Usman does to Buckley, but I would love to see that fight regardless. In terms of other matchups looking for like in the future, he could beat a Leon Edwards, maybe. That's a maybe, though. I think he could, though. I think he could beat Leon Edwards. I know the Ian Gary fight was scheduled originally. That's a close fight, too. Honestly, Buck's a legit contender for the top 5. I would love to see a top 5 fight for him, whether that's Leon or whether that's Usman. So anyways, this card was a really, really solid card. Started off kind of slow, but once that first finish picked up, oh my gosh, did it pick up. and that was an insane fight night card. Probably one of the best fight night cards the UFC's ever had. And that was probably easily the best fight night of the year and one of the best they've ever had. So, anyways, that was my breakdowns of the fights on UFC Tampa. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video I make. Bye bye.